Today's MetroNews television forecast is brought to you by Lou Wendell Marine Sales. We sell family fun. Happy Friday, everyone, and thanks for checking in. Meteorologist Todd Nelson here with your local forecast. And as we head through the evening, maybe a few sprinkles, but a better chance of some showers and thunderstorms on Saturday. A few of the showers linger into Sunday as well. But heading into early next week, some record heat arrives Monday and Tuesday. So again, as we head through the rest of our Friday, you can see a few isolated sprinkles drifting through this evening. Better chance of those showers and thunderstorms developing as we head into Saturday. And again, maybe a few lingering showers Sunday. But as we head closer to the end of the month, it looks like our temperatures are going to stay mild and maybe an uptick in that precip chance as well. Time now for a Fly CRW forecast. It starts at home, unsettled in Chicago, maybe even some severe weather, but that unsettled weather is going to start to move our direction as we head into next week. So not a whole lot of rain this upcoming weekend. We'll be lucky to pick up a couple of 10ths of an inch. Temperatures Saturday morning starting off into the 50s. Daytime highs approaching that 80-degree mark. Again, with some showers and storms. Panhandle to Panhandle farther east, we've got some lighter rain amounts, but we still expect to see a little. 40s generally overnight tonight. 70s farther west with a better chance of that thunderstorm activity. And as we again head to the south, those rainfall tallies kind of lessening, but overnight lows dropping to around 50 with those clouds on the increase. Some spotty showers and storms again from Spencer to Glenville, Sutton at 81 degrees, Webster Springs at 79. And farther south yet, again, rain chances looking a little bit more limited, maybe seeing a couple of 10ths of an inch farther west. Again, it all depends on where those thunderstorms develop, but daytime highs into this on Saturday, climbing into the 70s and 80s. So showers and storms expected Saturday, lingering into Sunday. Heading into early next week, we really warm up, getting into the 90s with those record highs Monday, Tuesday.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
5, 3, 1.
Red 57, Red 57, hot, hot.
I don't believe what I just saw.
Bill McKenzie hits a 38-yard field goal on the final play of the football game.
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes!
It is a great night to be a Mountaineer wherever you may be.
From the home of the state's land-grant institution, inside the Health Plan Studios, in the Dale B. Miller Building in Morgantown, it's time for the state's most listened-to sports talk show. This is the CityNet Statewide Sportsline. CityNet, cybersecurity experts for the digital age. And now, across the state of West Virginia and beyond, Sportsline is on the air.
Hi, everyone, and good evening. Welcome in Friday edition of the CityNet Statewide Sportsline, May 15th, 2026. Brad and Greg with you tonight, and just like last night, we got a packed show. We're busy, and we're right up against it here to start. We're going to head out to Kendrick Family Ballpark, Game 2 of the series between TCU and West Virginia coming up here in about 20 minutes. We've got our guy Kyle Wiggs standing by. He's on the call again tonight for ESPN+, and he's got a few minutes here before he begins his duties with ESPN, and he joins us on the CityNet Statewide Sportsline. Wiggsy, good evening.
Hey, good evening, guys.
All right, you're back for Game 2. Before we get to a preview tonight, let's quickly wrap up last night. What a pitching performance. We talked about Ian Korn getting the call and getting the ball in Game 1. He was fantastic. Season-high 6 innings pitched, scoreless, and was absolutely tremendous.
Yeah, and, the defense, again, helped. If you recall, that first inning, they made some solid contact against him. In fact, Colton Griffith, he took Gravlin all the way back to the left field fence to make that grab, and then the two-hitter, Cole Kramer, hit a rocket at Guzman. It went off his body, and he kind of pounced on it, and they got the out there. So, in that cold, damp air last night, Griffin's ball probably leaves the ballpark if that's tonight or tomorrow. So that would have changed the complexion of the game. But after that, you're right. He really settled in. His slider got sharper. It became a wipeout pitch for him. And He got out of a jam with 2 strikeouts in the 6th inning after TCU got 2 runners on. So now West Virginia's set up perfectly. They get a win on Thursday with the combination of Korn and Estridge, and now they've got Max Yale, their number 1, set to go tonight, and Chanson Cole, who leads the league in wins, set to go tomorrow. So that worked out, man, maybe a little bit of a gamble, but it worked out very well for the Mountaineers, and it sets them up nicely for the rest of the series.
Kyle, are we taking what Max Yale has done for granted? I mean, he's got a 2.04 ERA, 7-1, has been really fantastic, especially lately. We just sit there going, okay, another no runs, 1 run. It's what Max does.
Yeah, well, when you consider that he was out all of last year, I think it's incredible what he's done, and he's absolutely gotten stronger and had the complete game performance against Kansas. And you're right, his last, 3 outings have been outstanding, and he's just getting stronger and stronger, and he's developed into a true ace. And again, getting through that series last week at Kansas, the sweep with just 5 pitchers, and the anticipation is for him to go deep into this game tonight as well. I mean, you make a really good point. It's remarkable. It's amazing that anybody has a 2.04 ERA in this era of college baseball to lead the Big 12 conference. But again, a guy coming off the injury like he had last year, I think it's one of the biggest stories in college baseball this season.
Yeah, you're right. And you mentioned it. You are set up tremendously well with Korn getting through 6. Estridge comes on and keeps it scoreless for the rest of the game. Just used 2 pitchers last night. Now you got Yale on board, who has been going deep into games. So, yeah, you're set up in a nice position. All right, you dropped a good news nugget on us last night when you were on about TCU's biggest bat out of the lineup for the weekend. What's the story for you going into tonight's game?
Well, there's another guy. Jack Bell played third base for TCU last night, hit in the middle of their order, and he's out of the lineup tonight. He had 2 of their 7 hits, and they've shaken up that lineup quite a bit. Preston Gamster had 2 hits as well. He moves up from the 9 spot to the 5 spot, and Rob Lennington moves up from the 8 spot to the leadoff spot. So, again, this TCU team, they're desperate for offense. Sawyer Strohsnyder showed up tonight in a boot on crutches.
Wow.
So that's not a good sign at all. That obviously, we were told last night he was out for the series, but it looks like, I hate to say it or speculate, but it looks like his season may be over because he was, again, hobbling around in a boot. So this TCU team is doing everything it can to try to generate some offense, and they've shook up their lineup tonight.
Well, I'll tell you what, just from a superstition standpoint, if West Virginia wins this game, I know we're not on the air tomorrow, but I'm going to call you about 6:10 and just ask you who's out of the lineup for TCU. That's pretty amazing. You just dropped another one on us there.
I am glad you brought that up because if you're planning on coming to the game tomorrow, they've moved the start time up. It was actually the second time they've moved it. Originally, it was set for 4 o'clock. They moved it, sometime during the season up to 1, and now they've moved it to noon because there's rain anticipated in the Morgantown area late tomorrow afternoon. So
good point.
They're going to get the game, quick turnaround, but they're going to get the game started at noon, hopefully get it in before the rain comes. And, man, tonight's perfect. I mean, you could not ask for a better baseball night. 67 degrees, which is about 15 degrees warmer than it was last night. Perfect conditions, no chance of rain, got a nice breeze. So it's a great night to be at the ballpark tonight. And hopefully with the earlier start tomorrow, we'll get that game in before the weather moves in Saturday afternoon.
Yep, it's a good point. All right, brother, we'll see you here in a bit. I'm headed out to the game, so I'll stop up and give you a hello, and good luck on the call there.
All right, thanks very much.
All right, there he is, Kyle Wiggs checking in. He'll be on the call with Tyler Barnett coming up here at 6:30 ESPN Plus. All right, Coach Hunter, out of the gate in great shape there in Game 1 of that series, and you needed every bit of that quality pitching last night with Korn and Estridge shutting out TCU. Offensively, didn't have your normal game that you've had over the last 7 or so, but you found a way to manufacture some runs. Some doubles, sacrifice bunts, sacrifice flies, got you home 2 runs, got you enough to get that win. As I mentioned, Korn goes 6 innings, longest outing of the year for him, but he's 4 innings or more in his last 5 outings, so he's really starting to heat up and stretch it out. Hasn't given up a run in his last 3. He's up to 14 consecutive innings that have been scoreless. And we talked last night about his just outrageous walk to strikeout ratio. He was 44 Ks to just 8 walks coming into the game. 6 strikeouts, no walks last night. He has been just, I know we keep saying that, he's just been tremendous.
Yeah. And again, just another arm for West Virginia that has been so good. And now they got their best 2 arms getting ready to start in your next 2 days.
Yeah,
so
you're teed up nice, aren't you, with Yale on the mound? And you asked last night about the bullpen, and it didn't come down to that. Estra just came on, shut the door for his 3 innings of scoreless work, and now you got your full complement available to you. You've still got Montesa sitting out there, right, throwing upper 90s that you can go to close something out if you need to on there. So you're in a great spot here. Yeah,
the one thing I'd say, West Virginia, and you went through it, their offense put up enough runs with 2. When you get a shutout, it certainly helps. But 4 hits, 2 runs, you're probably going to need some more offense before this weekend's over.
You will. I just wonder how much of that was Lepore. We talked about how good he was, and he hadn't played most of the season there with injury and came back. I thought he was really good and settled in there pretty significantly. I thought he was excellent. Their relievers were good, too, out of the pen, but I thought Lepore was really talented. All right, here's my question, though. Here's my question, because it's interesting, just with 2 games to go, it's now down to just West Virginia and Kansas. They're the only 2 that can win the league.
Kansas won yesterday, by the way, if we have not announced that.
Yes, you're right. Beat BYU last night. They're back at it again tonight. So the question becomes this. If you're still trying to win the Big 12, that's still in play. But you're also still looking, there's a path in here to not win the Big 12 and still potentially host.
Sure.
So if you look at the latest RPIs, if I've got this right, West Virginia 18, Kansas 19, Cincinnati 20th. You're at 18, 19, 20. Which of these is more likely? I don't usually do more likelies for you in the summertime.
No, you don't. I have enough trouble with them in football season, so I'll butcher it again. But go ahead.
I'm giving you one. More likely, more likely, the Big 12 has 2 teams hosting a regional, or the Big 12 has 0 teams that host a regional. Because both things are in play here, right? 18, 19, 20 as you sit here today. Now, neither West Virginia or Kansas has been declared a Big 12 champion. It would be hard to imagine that one of those 2 teams would thereby win the series, win the Big 12, not get into position to host. That would be surprising to me. But what is more likely, 2 hosts or 0 hosts? 304.
So you can't split it down the middle,
you'll
right?
try. No, don't tell me one. No, that's the easy answer. 304-8255-304. If you want to do that, you would put the over-under at 1.5.
Yeah.
And would you take the under or the over? No, actually, I'd put it at 1 still. I'd still force your hand there. Over or under.
It's a good question, though.
Yeah.
I like
2 or none? What's more likely for hosting if you're a Big 12 team? West Virginia, Kansas, Cincinnati still hovering around there. They're 20th in the RPI heading into tonight's game. All right, break to take. When we come back, we've got some football to get into. Jaden Bray was a guest earlier this week on 3 Guys Before the Game. We had a great conversation with Jaden, talked about a bunch of different things, including his injuries over the last couple of seasons and how excited he is to get back in action and get back on the field. We went through some scouting reports on some of the other guys in that receiver room, and we'll play some of those clips for you coming up next. But text line's open, 304-8255-304, taking all things football, basketball, baseball, 304-TALK-304. Back after this on the CityNet Statewide Sportsline.
If a fire occurred in your home, would your smoke alarms work? Don't wait for a tragedy to find out. Smoke alarms are designed to give you and your family the precious seconds you need to safely escape. Test your smoke alarms every month by pressing the test button until the alarm sounds. Depending on the type of battery in your smoke alarm, you may need to change the batteries at least once a year or whenever the low battery warning chirps. And never remove the batteries for any reason. Remember, having working smoke alarms is not only a good idea, it's the law. A message from the West Virginia State Fire Marshal's Office.
Ready to make this boating season unforgettable? Head to Lou Wendell Marine Sales, family owned and operated for over 40 years and West Virginia's largest Avalon pontoon dealer. Lou and his sons are boating experts from sales to service to repairs. And right now, their lot is packed with incredible inventory and some of the best deals of the season. Because they don't just sell boats, they sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com today. Boating season is almost here.
Live from the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet Statewide Sportsline returns in 2 minutes on MetroNews, the voice of West Virginia.
sunshine, open roads, and a new Toyota from Dan Cava Toyota World. Lease an all-new Camry for as low as $398 a month. All new Tundras now up to $8,000 off. All new Tacomas now up to $4,500 off or lease as low as $399 a month. $7,500 off the new BZ or 0% financing for 72 months. We've got a Toyota for you at Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
You know CityNet is West Virginia's leading technology company. Whether we're managing IT infrastructures, protecting the critical data and networks of our region's businesses, or providing fiber broadband, TV, and phone services, we are your go-to experts. We're also a strong partner in the communities in which we serve. CityNet, your trusted technology partner. Learn more about us, visit citynet.net.
Looking for a show that talks about everything? You found it.
By the way, I'm really happy to talk about this as opposed to Ryan's opinion that being a sports fan is a bad thing.
He said that it kept him from being stressed about it, not that it was a bad thing, that he didn't have the stress. And, I mean, I've seen you pace.
Yeah, you're only 30 and you look like that.
So true.
Join Dave Weekly and Coop weekdays for Hotline on MetroNews Television.
Welcome back in. CityNet Statewide Sportsline continues. Brad and Greg with you, and we're live in our Health Plan studio. The Health Plan provides health coverage options. Has been the most trusted carrier for over 40 years. Text line's open, 304-8255-304. We just asked the question headed into the break there. Do you think it's more likely the Big 12 gets 2 schools to host a NCAA regional or none? 2 or none? As West Virginia, Kansas, and even Cincinnati are still hanging around as we head into the final weekend of the regular season. All right, Greg, let's transition over to football, talk a little bit about the wide receiver room, and specifically Jaden Bray. And I feel like, man, we've said his name a lot over the last 2 seasons, heading into what will be his 3rd here in Morgantown, and just haven't been able to see him play very much. Been on the unfortunate side of a couple of injuries each of the last 2 seasons. And it's a guy you're going to hear from here in just a minute from our 3 Guys episode. Still remains upbeat, still positive, still anxious to get back on the field. But this is a guy that could really change that room significantly. If he comes back and is able to perform at a level that matches that talent, now everybody else can be your second best receiver. That would change that position significantly, wouldn't it?
Oh, absolutely. If you can have a one that you know is that guy each and every game. But the problem with Jaden is he just hasn't had the luck to stay healthy. And truthfully, it goes back to his time at Oklahoma State. Remember, he took a medical red shirt for one of his 3 years with the Cowboys as well because of an injury situation. Was really good for a true freshman there in Stillwater. Ultimately transferred to West Virginia, and neither of his seasons at West Virginia has been able to stay healthy. That one last year, a game and a half into the season, just like Jaheim White had a significant injury at Ohio, and all of a sudden he's done for the year. And again, no excuses, but if you keep those 2 guys on the field for the entire season in 25, who knows ultimately what could happen. But, the bad luck of last year, because of that, he gets an additional year. If he'd have played last year, he would not been able to return to college this year.
Well,
at least
you
we
think.
don't. Who knows? You're right. Okay, you yell at me about that all the time. But anyways, I mean, he's a guy with NFL type of skills, certainly the body, and West Virginia needs players of that type, that talent level. And on top of all that, he's a really good kid.
Great.
My dealings with him, I've been really impressed. Smart kid, good kid. And I know in Three Guys, you guys got a chance to really sit with him and dig deep into some things.
Yeah, you're going to see that here in just a minute. Just great personality, smiley, easy to talk to. Here was something that came up. I'm going to give you a little spoiler alert to the episode. Still like you to go over and download it if you would.
Sure.
But I don't know if I knew this and had forgotten it because we just haven't talked much about him over the last couple of years, or if I never knew it. But how about him not playing football until late in high school? He was a basketball guy and thought that was going to be his route into college until the football coach talked him into going out for football. I think he said it was his junior season, and he went out and lit it up and had an unbelievable year and had like 17 offers the first year, and he went, those offers aren't coming on the basketball side. Maybe I've got a future here in football, which is incredible. And the point is, especially given the injury at Oklahoma State, a couple injuries here, he's a baby when it comes to playing. Hadn't played a whole lot of football.
No, very good point. How many times we see that, though? I mean, and you were basketball guys, but people just love it so much. But,
it does grab a hold of you, but you're right.
You're 6'2", 6'3", and you think, I love basketball. But, that's a dime a dozen in the D1 world, right?
Yes.
But you put a 6'2", 6'3" body out at wide receiver, all of a sudden you go, that can be pretty special and keep those athletic skills.
You're exactly right, and it makes some sense now if you remember back to, was it last year or the year before when he had that practice when he was, for our older listeners, he was Jordan. I mean, he was just going up and winning jump ball after jump ball after jump. Well, it makes a little sense now, right? That, he was a basketball player. He's comfortable in those settings. So those 50-50 balls that Rich loves and this staff loves to talk about, well, you got a guy right there. If he stays on the field, that's a guy that can go get him. So let's hear from Jaden Bray from Three Guys Before the Game, and we start by talking with him about the injury and about the injuries he's sustained and what he's learned about himself through those injuries. Let's go back and talk about these last couple of years, the injury a little bit more. I'm fascinated how gutty you have been to get through these last 2 years without having to be on the field very much, not at all last year and only 5 games the year before. What do you think you've learned about yourself over the last couple of years that maybe you didn't know before?
Yeah, I'm way stronger than what I am. Going through all these rehabs and stuff like that. You kind of just feel like you can go through anything, especially like when you're doing workouts and stuff like that. It gets hard, but nothing been harder than a rehab, fresh out of surgery and stuff like that. So just having that mindset of it can always be worse. It can always be, just keeping your head straight, and just always being thankful for the little things, and always just thanking God. That's what I feel like I've been doing, a really good thing, since I've been injured, because you just never know when it's gonna be your last time stepping onto the field. So just going hard every practice, because it could be your last. That's what I feel like.
Pretty good answer there, and pretty, as we said there in the interview, takes a lot of mental toughness to sit out a season with injury. Yeah. Then to do it 2 years, that's a special dude, and you can tell he is thoughtful about that. That's not just willy-nilly there, and he's had to work on overcoming that mindset that you're apart from the team. You're not in there. You're not where you want to be, only to come back and be that close again and have another setback. And it's interesting, Greg, he goes into and talks about life after football, wants to maybe do something on the mental side of sports and the mental approach to it and what it takes mentally to succeed at the highest level. And it's interesting because that makes some sense given what his injury situation has been and how much he's had to use that side of it. And so we talked about that. Did that influence his decision to be interested in the mental side of athletics? The past couple of years for you, the adversity you've had to fight through with the injuries, how much has that process influenced that reliance on mental health? You've obviously had to be very mentally strong to get through the last couple of years. How much has that influenced what you may want to do after football?
Oh, it's been a major influence. It's crazy dealing with certain situations, and then the next day you're going to class and you're trying to learn, you're actually learning about those things that can help you. So I wouldn't say I was already using like self-implement tots on myself, just to like make sure that I was doing good. But having a strong like connection and having strong friends and just good family members around, just to make sure that you were doing good is always great. I'm not ever been the type of person to get too down on myself. 'Cause there's always a situation worse. So just kind of always got to thank God for being there with you, and he's got your plan. So that was just kind of like the main thing I would say I was doing, was just keeping God first and keeping really great people around me to keep me lifted up through those hard times.
Pretty good approach, huh?
Yeah, very good. And you said it right from the beginning. His performance this year, and obviously predicated on staying healthy, is huge because West Virginia has a pretty good receiving room with 5 or 6 other guys, from Prince Strawn and DJ Epps and Teron Francis, Nader, Hutchins, and Triplett. There's some guys there that you look at and go, they got a chance, but none of those are definite drop dead, we're going to be great.
Yeah, perfectly
type
said.
Of guy.
Yeah, perfectly
guys.
said.
You really think Bray can be that guy, even though he hasn't necessarily done it in a game very often. But you get him as a number one, you get 3 or 4 of those other guys to be really good playmakers at receiver. All of a sudden, you can turn around and say, okay, we got a room, and nobody's going to catch 120 balls in this offense, right? Because you're going to run it too often. But you got some guys who can be big play guys, and I think you got enough talent there, but it's got to start with Jaden Bray.
Well, right along those lines, here's our final question to him. We talked about that receiver room and some of those guys you just mentioned, and what has he seen talent-wise as they come out of the spring? You got a bunch of new guys on this roster again. Offensively, what has stood out to you through the spring?
I would just say, like, the camaraderie that we have, even though like we've only been here for a short time, I feel like we've been close. Like, I've been playing with these guys already, especially like the way we've been working. I feel like we've been working way harder than we were last year. I feel like the guys are, like I said, just more connected. Like, I feel like this is like a team, like a real team. Not saying like last year it wasn't a real team, but like I just feel like we're more connected in a sense, and everybody got the same common goal, and that we all just want to like really prove and show like what W football can really do.
To your point, and further on in the episode, he gets into some specifics on some of those guys if you'd like to go back and listen. So that episode's out. It's available wherever you get your podcasts. On the audio side of things, you can also watch the show at wvmetronews.com on the MetroNews TV app or at YouTube. I'm surprised you didn't ask me there about the jersey hanging up over his right shoulder on the far left. The far left one was a Sooners jersey for a guy.
He's from Norman, but didn't go to OU.
He was in Norman when he was doing that, and he said we asked him right away before we even started because we figured we'd get some comments, tweets, and text on what was that. It was his stepdad's son that played at OU at Oklahoma, so that's what the jersey was.
That's nice.
But to your point, you have some guys, and you named them all, and you named a bunch of them that, you look at and go, okay, each one of those guys, right? Prince Strawn with the size that he brings and was at USC, and Francis certainly is a heck of a football player. You don't get to LSU without being very talented and athletic and has a big body, and then just right on down the list. But you're right. Bray's the one guy that's done it at this level and caught balls, and you've seen it. And if he's your one, you're right. Then it gives everybody else a chance. If they want to come catch him and take him over as the one, so be it. But it gives you a chance to mix some of those other guys in and get some experience. And suddenly, I'll go back to when we talked about this in the winter. What's the one position of all the positions that have questions? Because it's everyone. What position do you have the most questions about? You went wide receiver. Do you still feel that way coming out of the spring, or have you switched?
I not as much, I'll admit. Going into the spring, definitely was wide receiver, but in watching the limited amount of practices that we have, and then getting to evaluate some of those individuals, and then listening to the coaches too.
Yeah.
And you sort of got to understand what coaches are saying, and when they're blowing a little smoke and when it's real. But I think, with Rich in some of these instances, I think it's real. I think he likes this group of wide receivers. But again, it's got to start with a one who can draw so much attention that now DJ Epps can be a great slot receiver because you can't put much focus on him because they've got to try to take Jaden Bray away first. And then, oh, by the way, Cam Cook is running wild from the backfield and all those other type of things. So if they get Bray to be where they want him to be, I think everybody else has skill level that they can be really effective.
Agree, and I know what we're doing now, and we'll continue to do it over the summer.
It's great in May.
Right, where we look at this and go, hey, how about, or what if? I mean, that's just the cycle, right? That's the life cycle of what we do as we get ready for seasons. But, man, you're right, and I think it does illustrate what we've been thinking, and I know Rich feels this way, just about the talent upgrade across the board. And we're just talking offense right now, but you just start to say some of those names and where they've been and the potential that exists, you certainly feel like you've got more of a shot to have the guys you need than what you went to battle with last year.
Yeah. And again, I'm impressed so much by Jaden Bray. I mean, the other thing, he's a quiet kid naturally. I mean, he's not real boisterous on the field or off, but he's got some leadership qualities that I think are really important. And, think of it. He comes here under Neil Brown, and I know Neil liked him a great deal. Has the injury, plays, but only has a couple catches all year.
Played 5 games.
That. Could have, like so many other players in that team, could have bailed hit the portal, right? Last year, injury after a game and a half. Got to be completely bummed out. I think a lot of people would have said, I'm going to give it a restart someplace else. But he stuck with West Virginia through 3 years, and I'll admit I'm a little bit surprised by that. But hopefully it's finally paid off for his dedication to this program.
Agree. And if you were watching along with us there on the video stream, you could just see the personality coming through, the smiley nature of him, the great attitude even through the injuries. And if you were listening, I'm sure that came through on the audio as well. So certainly rooting for Jaden Bray. And again, that's available wherever you get your podcast now, the latest 3 guys before the game. All right, break to take when we come back. Text at 304-8255-304 if you'd like to weigh in. We'll take them. The baseball game is underway, so we'll do a little game line for the back half of this show. Watch along with us as we check out WVU and TCU Game 2 of the series. Back for more after this on the CityNet Statewide Sportsline. Running a small business means wearing a lot of hats, and dealing with tech problems shouldn't be one of them. CityNet helps West Virginia businesses keep their technology running smoothly, from networks and computers to backup, security, and day-to-day support. Whether you don't have IT staff or you have a small team that could use extra help, CityNet can take care of the technology or work alongside your team to fill in the gaps. With proactive monitoring, fast local support, and solutions built on CityNet's fiber network, your business stays productive instead of reactive. Call us at 1-844-CityNet to get started.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
For over 4 decades, we've been rooted deep inside West Virginia. Through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses. Proudly serving your neighborhood since 1979. Your trusted partner in the community.
The health plan. We are here for you.
I'm Sergeant R.A. Marsh.
And this is Trooper Goodman with the West Virginia State Police.
When working traffic across West Virginia, responding to crashes involving death or injury is the toughest part of our job.
Around here, we're experts at survival, so we know the importance of buckling up.
When you don't buckle up,
you increase your risk of dying in a crash.
Why do we enforce seatbelt laws?
It's not about writing tickets, it's about saving lives.
Come on, West Virginia, we can do this. Please, always buckle up.
A message from the West Virginia Governor's Highway Safety Program.
Live from the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet Statewide Sportsline returns in 2 minutes on MetroNews, the voice of West Virginia.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Lou Wendell Marine Sales. We sell family fun. Happy Friday, everyone, and thanks for checking in. Meteorologist Todd Nelson here with your local forecast. And as we head through the evening, maybe a few sprinkles, but a better chance of some showers and thunderstorms on Saturday. A few of the showers linger into Sunday as well. But heading into early next week, some record heat arrives Monday and Tuesday. So again, as we head through the rest of our Friday, you can see a few isolated sprinkles drifting through this evening. Better chance of those showers and thunderstorms developing as we head into Saturday. And again, maybe a few lingering showers Sunday. But as we head closer to the end of the month, it looks like our temperatures are going to stay mild and maybe an uptick in that precip chance as well. Time now for a Fly CRW forecast. It starts at home, unsettled in Chicago, maybe even some severe weather, but that unsettled weather is going to start to move our direction as we head into next week. So not a whole lot of rain this upcoming weekend. We'll be lucky to pick up a couple of 10-7-inch. Temperatures Saturday morning starting off into the 50s. Daytime highs approaching that 80-degree mark, again with some showers and storms. Panhandle to Panhandle, farther east, we've got some lighter rain amounts, but we still expect to see a little. 40s generally overnight tonight. 70s farther west with a better chance of that thunderstorm activity. And as we again head to the south, those rainfall tallies kind of lessening, but overnight lows dropping to around 50 with those clouds on the increase. Some spotty showers and storms again from Spencer to Glenville, Sutton at 81 degrees, Webster Springs at 79. And farther south yet, again, rain chances looking a little bit more limited, maybe seeing a couple of 10-7-inch farther west. Again, it all depends on where those thunderstorms develop, but daytime highs into this on Saturday, climbing into the 70s and 80s. So showers and storms expected Saturday, lingering into Sunday. Heading into early next week, we really warm up, getting into the 90s with those record highs Monday, Tuesday.
You've heard the buzz about CityNet Fiber expanding across West Virginia? Well, now you can check your address, choose the plan that fits your needs, and even pick your preferred installation window. Visit citynet.net to learn more. And remember, CityNet connects, protects, and perfects. Got some text coming in now, 304-8255304. We'll get into those here in just a minute. But baseball game is underway. And, Greg, a little bit of a rocky start here to begin the game for West Virginia. Max Yale hits, was it the first batter of the game?
Yes, first batter of the game. Rob Liddington for TCU gets hit by a pitch and then advances to second a few pitches later on a wild pitch by Max Yale. So no outs, runner on second for the Horned Frogs.
Looks like a good crowd in the stands. I have the sound turned down, of course, watching the ESPN broadcast with Kyle on the call. Looks like a good crowd, as you mentioned, or he mentioned. Great weather today up in the mid-60s. Sun is out and shining. Crowd is packed down the right field line. There's people sitting out on the berm down the left field line. So good crowd on hand for this game. But yeah, TCU with a runner in scoring possession out of the gate. Still 0-0. Top of the first, nobody out. We'll keep you posted here. We're going to watch that as we move throughout the show. Hey, you mentioned the text line there.
Mm-hmm.
How about this for a question here? We just have 20 minutes left of the show. But if you were a betting man, and I said to you, here's the prop bet: Jaden Bray will lead West Virginia in receptions next season. Yes or no? And I would give you plus money on that, because obviously a popular side would be taking the field. You have every other receiver in there. But he is the most experienced. He has been the most productive at this level. If I give you just a yes-no bet on him leading the team in reception as we get a ground out to Armani Guzman. By the way, he is amazing over there at first. He had another great play last night on a ball that was just foul, but I don't even know how he got it. Kyle's description of it was perfect. Kyle said, like a cat. He was so quick to get to it. He plays almost where the second baseman should be at times, gets it, and then can beat you to the bag. So good play by Guzman, runner on third now, 1 out, sets up the potential for a sac fly. Strikeout would be big here by Max if he can get one. All right, so yes or no prop bet. Bray is the leading receiver by receptions, number of receptions. Yes? Or would you take the field?
The only thing that would cause me to hesitate on that is the injury history he has dealt with. Because I think if he's healthy, I don't think there's any doubt. Because, he's going to get targets like crazy, and he's going to lead. I don't think there's any doubt that he leads you in receptions. Now,
Now, hold on, though.
Now, DJ Epps as a slot could be, and he's caught a bunch of passes in the past. At least he did last year.
Yeah, so I was going to say to you, Bray's going to draw a lot of attention as well. And that opens up the possibility. Rich likes to throw it underneath, likes to throw the bubble screen there. Epps could be a guy. So you're talking yourself out of your own bet.
Yeah, I am, but I still go with the best quality that you have there. And
so you would take that?
You find a way.
You would say yes?
Yes, I'd say yes.
If I move it to the favorite, you got to lay a little juice, would you still? Would you take it because it was a plus money bet, or would you lay a little juice?
Well, I'm not going to go too far if you start dropping the odds a great deal. Again, there's so many new pieces to this. We don't know anything for certain, but Epps would be the other option, I would think, for West Virginia. I think there's some other guys. I think Strawn is a guy, if all goes well, he is your big play guy. He averages 20 yards per reception.
He's a big dude.
And has 8 touchdowns. And Teron Francis is, just a beast getting yards after catch running through people because he's got some strength about him. And then Epps is your little wiggle jitterbug. But I still think it's got to start with Bray, and you got to make sure that he gets the football.
So there you go. There's another question if you want to text in at 304-TALK-304. Does Jaden Bray lead the team in receptions? 304-TALK-304. I'm going to speak something else into existence because we got the strikeout right there. Maxiell with the K, now 2 down, runner on third. Why don't you go ahead and just finish the inning here, strand that runner at third. A little ground ball to second would be fine. Or just you want another strikeout. What would you like?
Anyway, hey, there are 2 outs. Just get a third out, no run coming in. But
I'll take the strikeout now. It's 1 and 2 on the hitter, so just go ahead. It's lefty on lefty. Throw him that sweeper here. Ring him up and get into the dugout and hit. Ooh, there it was. Slider away. Ball 2. 2 and 2. Maxiell. 1 strike away from getting out of this half inning here in the top of the first. Runner on third right now. 2-2.
So you have not answered your own question
Full
to
count.
begin with.
2 or none?
2 or none.
Big 12 hosts?
Yes.
Is BYU going to put up any fight out there in Provo? Do they have anything in them? Can they stand up and do a little bit of something?
No.
I mean, stand up and do something out there. That's a long trip for Kansas. There was the sweeper. Fouled off. 3 and 2. Still alive. I think 1 is the answer, even though I'm going against my own rule of telling you. So I think more likely, I don't know, 2's really in play, is it not? If BYU, if Kansas sweeps and wins the league, they're hosting.
Yes.
If West Virginia gets a win here, ground ball to third. Tyrus Hall is an absolute vacuum at third, is he not? Saban's called him the best third baseman defensively he's ever coached the other night, which is high praise. And I don't know how you argue with that. He made that play last night. Did you see him on that ball that just tapper down the third base line? And he charged, threw off 1 foot to first, and he made that look like it was infield practice.
Yeah.
That is a hard play to make, and it wasn't even close over at first. And there he just snags one down the line, throws all the way across the diamond, not close. West Virginia out of the top of the first, no damage, heading to the bottom.
Yeah, leadoff runner on, advance to second, advance to third, and you get out of it with no run. That's big. But you talked about it. West Virginia's corner infielders have been so strong. And, I mean, Hall at least is a conventional third baseman, though a really good one. But
Guzman's a shortstop.
In all the years you've played baseball, did you ever play with a first baseman who was also the fastest guy on the team and maybe the fastest guy in all of baseball? At least college baseball?
Certainly in the conference. No, first basemen usually don't lead the league in stolen bases. That's a non-traditional move right there.
Yeah.
All right, break to take. When we come back, we'll get into some of your texts. We'll continue following this West Virginia game. So 2 questions out there. Does Jaden Bray lead the team in receptions this year? Just yes or no. Bring that back later this summer when we have a full show to go through it. But we'll take it now. And also, is the Big 12 more likely to have 2 teams host a regional coming up or none? 2 or none? 304-TALK-304. We'll be back with West Virginia batting in the bottom of the first on the CityNet Statewide Sportsline.
WVU Medicine is home to West Virginia's first and only multi-organ transplant center, making heart and kidney transplants at an academic medical center a reality for people across the state and region. Whether you've struggled with advanced heart failure or kidney disease, the WVU Medicine Transplant Alliance helps people like you find hope and healing on their journey to better health. Visit wvumedicine.org/transplant to learn more.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
For over 4 decades, we've been rooted deep inside West Virginia. Through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses. Proudly serving your neighborhood since 1979. Your trusted partner in the community.
The health plan. We are here for you.
Live from the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet statewide Sportsline returns in 2 minutes on MetroNews, the voice of West Virginia.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
What do you know about hot dogs? Because we've been all about hot dogs this week.
I love hot dogs, and I love them with Miracle Whip.
Oh, God, I forgot. Never mind. I forgot
and
about
onions.
this. Okay.
I actually, yesterday morning, I had a hot dog for breakfast at 6:45 with onions and Miracle Whip.
And with that, we'll be back right after this.
Join Dave Allen weekdays for midday on Metro News Television.
You know CityNet is West Virginia's leading technology company. Whether we're managing IT infrastructures, protecting the critical data and networks of our region's businesses, or providing fiber broadband, TV, and phone services, we are your go-to experts. We're also a strong partner in the communities in which we serve. CityNet, your trusted technology partner. Learn more about us, visit citynet.net.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
The Health Plan proudly supports our active and healthy communities and has been your most trusted carrier for over 40 years. Log on to healthplan.org for more information.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
Final segment, CityNet Statewide Sportsline, Friday edition. Brad and Greg with you. Bottom of the first inning started out great. Matt Einish hits the ball through the shift. They had shifted more around to the right. He popped it through between short and third for a leadoff single, but then Gavin Kelly comes up next. Great pitch by the TCU pitcher. Jams Gavin inside. He fists one back to the mound, turns into a double play. It was a heck of a turn by the second baseman for TCU because Gavin was scooting down the line. Schoenfield flies to center. End of 1, 0-0.
Oddity with both teams getting their leadoff batters on and neither able to get them around.
That's a good point, Greg. Normally that's the kiss of death for your inning. You get the leadoff guy on. Couple of texts here to get into. Greg from Lake Norman chiming in on the question of 2 or none. He says, depends on whether or not Bubba Cunningham is on the selection committee and has a big fat bonus riding on UNC. If not, then I'm going with 2, he says. Thank you, Greg. I understand the joke there. Very well done.
Is that one of those that lasts decades?
Yes, because it was an absolute historic screw job that West Virginia was left out of the tournament, and then Bubba's going to catch it because he was the head of the selection committee.
Yeah.
So
and his team was the one who got in.
Yeah. I mean, as long as I'm alive, Hunter, I will not forget that. That's an absolute hose job by that committee.
I'm not arguing with you.
Screwed that up in a massive way. There have been others. There have been other times when we said that was what they achieved. What rarely happens. nearly unanimous outcry on the team that got left out. That usually doesn't happen.
No.
Thanks, Greg. Now I'm hacked
now
off
you're
again.
fired off.
Yeah. Texter Fred in Clarksburg says, as you bring up the subject of injuries, talking about Jaden Bray, said that's a bad memory. I could never remember a WVU football team with more injuries as they had last year, and I'm praying that doesn't happen again. And I'm wondering how that compared with the other teams in the league, if any of those teams had as many injuries or even close. That's from Fred in Clarksburg. Last year, we've said it many times, man, that was weird, wasn't it? Especially the cluster at those positions at quarterback and receiver in particular.
Yeah, and running back as well. West Virginia.
Well, that's what I meant. Quarterback and running back, yes.
West Virginia had the first three quarterbacks who started games to begin in the first half of the season. All suffered injuries that would take them out for significant game time for two of them, in Henderson and Nico Marchio, the rest of the year.
I'm grimacing there because TCU is on the board with a leadoff home run in the second. Golfed it out of there, too. Peyton Gamster, 5th home run of the season. Takes it out. We'll have to look. I think that was left center-ish. Watching the replay now. Yeah, he kind of goes down and gets it.
West Virginia's, their offense did enough yesterday to win, but we thought that they'd have to come up with more than 2 runs and 4 hits. That's not, no matter how good Maxiell is, you're normally going to need more than that.
Agree. Max a little shaky here for him. Again, the standard is so incredibly high. He's had such a magnificent season, and it's only 2 hits.
Yeah.
But now one of them deep, so West Virginia's going to have to come from behind here in this one, although a lot of baseball left, but 1-0 TCU as they take the lead on the Gamster home run.
So we mentioned the quarterback situation, and until Scotty Fox took over the last 6 games of the year, you didn't have a quarterback who could, overcome injury. And then at the running back situation, it was even worse. You had 6 different running backs miss games because of injury situation. Now, obviously, it started with Jaheim White, but then went right down the line. Trey Edwards, who you thought after the Pitt game was going to be your stud, never played again because of injury, and it just kept going.
Was remarkable.
Again, it matter of luck. You hope that all the bad luck came last year, but injuries are also going to happen. And if you could tell us what areas are going to get injured, we'd have a better opportunity to figure out what's going to happen.
They are, but I think you've got to bank on that regression to the mean there, that the cluster that came last year certainly won't happen again. One note as we follow up from some guests this week, we've been talking Mountain East Conference, not only basketball last night with Dan Mondragon getting introduced at Fairmont State, but we did some softball and baseball earlier in the week. The softball continues on, and this is good news. Reed Amos and company celebrating in the MEC offices. Today's action yielded a championship game in the regional tomorrow between Charleston, University of Charleston, and Glenville State.
So it's Glenville State, all MEC final.
Glenville State knocked off number 1 Shippensburg to stay alive. Now they're coming through the losers bracket. They've got to beat UC twice tomorrow to advance on. UC just has to win once. And the winner of that little series goes on to the Super Regional. So the MEC is going to have a team get to the Supers, and it's going to be UC and Glenville State meeting for the 8th time tomorrow, and maybe 9th if Glenville wins the first game. So
that's an amazing number.
Congratulations to both teams, and we'll certainly be keeping an eye on that as they head for a Super Regional berth. But Glenville and UC in the mix there. All right, what do you got there? Well, I missed it. Any action since? 1-0 West Virginia. 0-1 count, 1 out as we play from Ken Kendrick Family Ballpark.
Again, some of the questions you asked me you didn't answer is Jaden Bray going to be the leading receiver for this football team?
Oh, no, Greg. Another home run.
Ooh.
This one does just to the left field side of center field. A second solo blast for TCU. They take the lead 2-0 in the second.
West Virginia's got some work to do.
Now, at least they've been solo blast. But
yeah.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. What did you ask me?
So, answer the question. I thought Jaden Bray would lead this team in receiving this year. You give me your thoughts Is it Jaden Bray? Pick somebody else if it's not Jaden Bray, and don't give me DJ.
Well,
Epps
you
just
said
because
it.
I did that.
No, I think that's the answer. I mean, as we sit here today, there's a lot of runway left and a lot of things to happen once we get into action and see how this goes. And I think those would be my early candidates right now for the exact reason you laid out. Bray is the one that we've seen at this level and think he will be the one if he's healthy. And two, I think Epps has the ability across the middle and from the slot to catch a lot of balls. Saw Darius Renaud catch a ton for West Virginia out of that position, and Epps showed a little bit in the spring game, caught that one, had some wiggle, and turned it into a big play. So I think those have to be your 1 and 2 here at this point, knowing that it changes once the games start potentially. But early on, those would be the two. I wouldn't argue with you there.
Yeah.
I think that was a good call by you.
It would be hard to find someone else that would be a favorite at this juncture.
But you said all the names that give you hope. I mean, Francis, you certainly hope he can live up to that potential that they saw at LSU when they signed him. And again, wait till you see Prince Strawn if you haven't already. I mean, that's a guy, Greg, and there's a couple of them on this roster now, but Prince has to be near the front of the bus when he gets off there, right? Just from, okay, we're here, we've arrived, look at this dude that we're bringing out to you.
Especially when he comes out of the receiver room, right? So, no, good-looking kid. And they got others that, Triplett and Hutchison can just run like crazy. So they've got others. So I like it.
Hutchins does give you some big playability, but it feels to me as if that's what he'll be used for. He'll be your home run threat.
And that's what I think after Bray and Epps, the other guys have to be big play guys. Yeah. They got to be more quality than quantity.
Agree. All right, that's going to do it for us. We're off the air here in about 30 seconds. So we encourage you to head over to ESPN Plus and listen to Kyle or watch Kyle on the call of this game. Or you can pick it up on MSN Radio, of course, or you can head out to the game. I'm headed there right now. So if you're there, say hi, as it's 2-0 TCU. They just got another hit, runner on. So here we go, Mountaineers. Got some work to do to dig out. Greg and Travis back with you on Sunday. We'll talk to you on Monday evening. Enjoy your weekend, everyone. See you.
From the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet statewide Sportsline is an exclusive production of the MetroNews Radio Network. All rights reserved.